Hi, I'm Bob from Crane Appliance. Since 1983, as a family-owned company, our goal has been simple: to give our neighbors of the Cape and Islands a great shopping experience. Rest easy knowing our professional team will listen to your needs and help you pick out the perfect appliances. We'll take care of everything throughout the sale, delivery, and installation process. And we even have our own in-house service department. Crane Appliance, we call the Cape and Islands home.
Hosting services for fctv.org are provided by MegaNet Communications. MegaNet offers a wide array of internet services including Mega Backup Cloud Service, server co-location, T1, fiber, Metro Ethernet, as well as telephone services such as hosted PBX and digital voice. Their number one goal is to keep your communications network up and running and allow you to focus on growing your business. 877-634-2638 or meganet.net.
Good evening and welcome to the May 6, 2024 open meeting of the Falmouth Select Board. It's now 6:30 and I ask you please silence your cell phones, and anyone audio or videotaping this open session, please notify me as the chair. Okay? The placement and operation of this equipment should not interfere with the conduct of this meeting. If you would all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to go into proclamations. Mr. Muscali, if you would please read the proclamations for this evening.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Whereas Grace Cantromboni, a longtime resident of Falmouth, was born at home on May 27, 1924, in East Falmouth, a community and town she greatly loves, and she will now be celebrating her 100th birthday on May 27, 2024, in that same close-knit community. Whereas some of Grace's many activities involve the faith community, which she greatly loves at St. Anthony's Church and other churches associated with St. Joseph Guardian of the Holy Family Parish, and also its Sisters in Spirit Fellowship Group. Grace and her family, devout Catholics, have had deep connections to St. Anthony's dating back to the church's opening in the year of her birth, 1924. Lovingly living and practicing the faith is an everyday and every moment occurrence, as natural as breathing to Grace. And whereas other activities in which Grace regularly participates in involve music and dancing, areas of her life in which she has also found the secret to youth with benefits in physical, mental, and emotional health. In all her life, dancing has been paramount, something she greatly loves and from which she derives great joy. Grace participates regularly in line dancing and ballroom dancing, and is a member of the Cape Cod Ballroom Dance Association. And whereas Grace has numerous other involvements and affiliations with groups in the town, including the Falmouth Senior Center, the Falmouth Newcomers, the Falmouth Housing and Neighborhood Falmouth. She greatly loves each and every group involvement and is extremely grateful for the benefits to her life that each group and each individual in that group provide to her. And whereas Grace is an original tenant of the John Conley Tadakit Apartments and has served as a welcoming ambassador, local historian, and gracious neighbor and friend to Tadakit residents for over 38 years and counting. And whereas Grace's friends and family call her, quote, Tiny the Dancer, unquote. And whereas in a typical week for Grace, she may be seen walking about the town, going grocery shopping, having her hair done, or perhaps shopping at the Dollar Tree store. Another favorite location she might be seen at is at Dunkin' Donuts, enjoying coffee and donuts. All these local shops she greatly loves frequenting, and she inevitably meets people she knows, as it seems everyone in town knows Tiny. And whereas Grace is quite a conversationalist, funny and fun-loving, and is always impeccably dressed, completely stylish and color-coordinated and accessorized with jewelry, with perfect makeup and hairstyle. Grace has never met a stranger, and as she greatly loves all people, she greatly loves conversing with them. And whereas Grace greatly loves her many family members as well as her extended family members, including several close to her, who consider her the mom they wish they had, and she also greatly loves her countless very close friends. And whereas we greatly love Grace Cantromboni, Tiny the Dancer, and appreciate the inspiration that her life is to all, now therefore we, the Select Board of the Town of Falmouth, Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim Monday, May 27, 2024, as Grace Cantromboni, aka Tiny the Dancer Day. Witness swear we, Nancy Robbins Taylor, Edwin P. Zielinski II, Douglas C. Brown, Angela Scott Price, and Robert P. Miscali, have hereunto set our hand and caused the great seal of the town of Falmouth to be affixed on this 6th day of May, 2024.
Grace, would you like to say a few words?
I'm a dancer, not a speaker.
Good for me.
I don't think I need to speak. Do I need that?
You don't have to do anything you don't want to.
Wait a minute, stop. Number one, I danced with him over 20 years ago. He was at the Navigator when I had that concussion.
Wasn't me. Was not me.
300 pounds. He says, no, that's not me. You know something? I haven't been right since then.
I've heard that before, though.
Well, I really appreciate all of you coming. I mean, really, it's very touchy, and of course, having this special guest here, which is, I can't say any more of that. But anyway, let's go back. I told them they should have had music here because we could have line danced. But I do want to say that I didn't want to leave my twin brother out. Even though he is deceased, but he was my rock. And we were always very, very close together. We took care of one another, and if I hurt, he hurts. And if he hurt, I hurt. And when we were young, we're still young, you know. I would cover for him, and we both get a licking. He was a golfer, a great golfer. He did dance, but I'm a dancer, you know. But I can't find words thanking you all and thanking them for presenting me with this, you know.
That's my. There
you go.
That's for you, okay?
Oh, I really appreciate that. That is.
Uh-oh.
Just kiss me, I ain't gonna wash my hair now.
My wife's watching now. Kidding.
You know why? I had the best and I don't want the rest.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Fine.
Shake. See everybody, of course, we went dancing Saturday, and we kind of shook it up a little. And there's Hope over there, the dancer, and there's Fran, which she never stops, you know.
Okay.
We go there with the first one, with the last one out, and of course I'm dragging it, you know.
She gets home at midnight and then gets up for 8 o'clock mass on Sunday.
Wow.
And we go all the way to Rhode Island to dance.
Good for you, honey.
My
Nice.
friend,
Hope drives.
Tiny, would you like to go riding? What's there? Dancing. Oh, yeah, sure, let's go. But it's so good to see everybody here, really. Come on in, come on in. You know, the more the merrier, you know. But you know, life is funny. Even though I will be 100, but I don't feel it. I love people. That was the way Mother taught me.
Obviously, they love you too.
Well, this is nothing compared to the dancing. And of course, when they hug me, you know, I love that. But, you know, I am what my mother made me. Let me put it that way. Mother had, I am the baby of the family, what a baby. And my dad died at 39. And he owned 96 acres of land on Athabasca. And he died at 39, I was only 2 years old. And my mother survived all those years, being a widow. And many times the men would come over and say, you know, Ann, I would like to marry you. My mother said, no. If you don't want to marry me, you want my land. She was smart. She went to school, but she knew her money. You could give her money, and she can tell you whether it was a dime, a nickel, or a quarter. You know, like anything. And you probably know John Ferreira.
Yeah.
That was my uncle. That was my father's brother. Do you know Tommy Ferreira? He was on the board of the Falmouth Housing many years ago. That was my uncle.
I remember I was Joe
And of
Ferreira's
course,
paper boy.
Do you remember? And they got the plaque there for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe they'll make a plaque for me someday, who knows? I had this and I'll treasure it. I really do.
Thank you.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
And I'll continue. I'm not gonna go yet.
We'll see you in the next.
I know he's in a better place than I am, but he's up there waiting for me. Huh?
I don't know about you, I could listen to it all night.
Yeah.
That's right, we can't forget our friends here from the Falmouth Housing, you know. I've been there 38 years, they haven't evicted me yet.
Mr. Muscali, we have another?
That's gonna be a hard act.
Okay, I know.
Thank you, Robin, so much. She'll never be the same.
Whereas the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce annually acknowledges and pays tribute to a citizen of the town of Falmouth who has made a lasting positive impact on the community through participation in a broad scope of activities and whose commitment to the town has been demonstrated by many years of service beyond his or her profession. And whereas Troy B.G. Clarkson is an exceptional citizen of the town of Falmouth, Massachusetts and New England, well known to all for his professional accomplishments and widespread contributions to the betterment of society. And whereas Troy B.G. Clarkson is a model citizen, admired and esteemed for successfully balancing his devotion to family with years of integrity, tireless civic participation, and commitment to community progress. And whereas Troy B.G. Clarkson quietly works to build a better town, to build the physical and moral fiber of our youngsters, to support the action boards and committees so vital to all our interests, to preserve Falmouth open space, and to protect the values and rich character of Falmouth Cape Cod. And whereas Troy B. Clarkson's many accomplishments and contributions singularly and collectively are memorialized in the minds of those he has touched and chronicled on the pages of organizations across the town. And as he continues to make a difference in the town of Falmouth, we do herein declare that this citizen is worthy of high praise and great recognition. And now therefore we, Nancy Robbins Taylor, Edward P. Zielinski II, Douglas C. Brown, Angela Scott Price, and Robert P. Muscali as members of the Select Board of the Town of Falmouth by the authority vested in us, do proclaim Troy B.G. Clarkson, Falmouth's 2024 Outstanding Citizen of the Year. In witness thereof, we have hereunto set our hand and caused the great seal of the Town of Falmouth to be affixed.
I'll second that motion.
That's a motion.
Yes, a motion.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Can we back up on Ms. Catraboni's? Can I
We
take, that was
caught
a
up with the
motion as well.
excitement.
Oh, that was a motion, we got excited.
Yes, I'll second hers.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Muscally, you have one more for us? Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, sir.
And congratulations to Mr. Clarkson. I guess he's probably still working tonight.
Very likely.
Yes, he would have been here. Okay. Well, whereas the National League of Cities was founded in 1924 in Lawrence, Kansas, as the American Municipal Association by state municipal leagues seeking more coordination and national representation as cities, towns, and villages expanded rapidly. Whereas the nonpartisan National League of Cities is the oldest and largest organization representing municipal governments throughout the United States, representing the interests of more than 19,000 cities, towns, and villages across the country. And whereas today the National League of Cities works in partnership with 49 state municipal leagues across the country to strengthen local leadership, drive innovation, and influence the federal policies that impact local programs and operations. And whereas the voice of cities, towns, and villages in Washington, D.C., the National League of Cities has successfully championed federal legislative solutions that support municipalities and has worked closely with Congress and the executive branch to educate policymakers on the realities of local implementation. And whereas local governments are the bedrock of American democracy, providing 336 million residents with the most accurate, responsive, inclusive, ethical, and transparent government in the world. And whereas from the nation's smallest villages to its largest cities, America's local governments have been essential in transforming the United States of America into the greatest, most influential nation in world history. Whereas Falmouth was first incorporated in 1686 and is proudly served today by the select board members Nancy Robbins Taylor, Chair Edwin P. Zielinski II, Vice Chair Douglas C. Brown, Angela Scott Price, and Robert P. Muscally, and a municipal workforce of 350 dedicated public servants. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Falmouth hereby proclaims May 2024 as National Cities, Towns, and Villages Month in celebration of America's local governments and the National League of Cities' historic centennial anniversary.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go into public hearings. I'm sorry, does the board have any recognitions?
I do, Mr. Chair, if I
Please,
may.
please.
Just wanted to mention that the Falmouth School District has received a Green Ribbon Award from the United States Department of Education for its environmentally sustainable practice. Falmouth was the only school district in Massachusetts to receive this distinction this year. Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
I don't have a recognition, but I have an announcement when we're done with the recognition.
Okay, Ms. Scott Price?
I do not have one.
Okay, we'll go into announcements then. You want to start, Doug?
Just a reminder that tomorrow at 3 o'clock, there's going to be a Zoom meeting for anyone who wants to comment on the Steamship Authority schedule. And you can go on the Steamship Authority website and look it up if you're interested to comment.
Ms. Scott Price?
No, I do not have one.
Mr. Muscally?
Just note that on Wednesday, May 8th at 5:30 p.m. at Joint Base Cape Cod, there will be a military-civilian community council meeting. It's a public meeting, and the public is invited to attend. Lots going on there at the base, so people might want to appear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh, I
Muscally.
do.
Ms. Scott Price?
I don't mean to put Kim on the spot, but there is an affordable housing event on Thursday, but I don't have it pulled up and my email won't come up.
Yeah, May 9th, Thursday,
Thursday.
at 8:30 in the morning.
Thursday, May 9th, 8:30 here in this room, correct? Yes, okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we're gonna go into public comment. Public comment may be made on routine matters not on the agenda this evening. Comments are limited to 2 minutes. Please introduce yourself, and since the matter is not on the agenda, the Select Board may not participate in any discussion of the topic. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we will...
One.
Oh, sir?
Would public
Could you come up?
include-
Could you come up, please?
Would public comment include the approval letter in support of the solar array project?
Could you do me a favor and come up and introduce
Well,
yourself?
No, it wouldn't. That's on the agenda, so we wouldn't take up public comment now.
So we'll take public comments
During.
During that hearing.
That's right.
That's fine.
Thank you. We'll go into public hearings. Ms. Scott Price.
The Falmouth Select Board will hold a public hearing under Section 240-14.8 Wetlands Regulations of the zoning bylaws of the Town of Falmouth on Monday, May 6, 2024, at 6:45 p.m. in the Select Board Meeting Room, Falmouth Town Hall, 59 Town Hall Square, on the application of Andrew and Laura Dearman for permission to rebuild the existing licensed ramp and float into an entirely fixed pier located at 41 Madeline Road, East Falmouth, MA. Area affected is Eel Pond. Interested parties may review the file on this hearing at the Office of the Select Board. Per order of Select Board, publication date Friday, April 19th, 2024, and Friday, April 26th, 2024, Falmouth Enterprise.
Thank you, Ms. Scott Price, for the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Select Board. For the record, Mike Porcelli, Falmouth Engineering, and I represent the applicant, Andrew Dearman. Mr. Dearman owns a property at 41 Madeline Road. I'm sharing with you an aerial photo that shows the location of his house. I'm circling with the mouse. It's in the very, very upper reaches of the Childs River, and there's only one more lot beyond it that has a dock. Off to the other side is an area in Falmouth known as Squibnocket. You may be familiar with that. Mr. Dearman is here tonight asking for permission to rebuild an existing licensed dock. There's a Chapter 91 license that exists for the current dock. The current dock is in a state of disrepair. It doesn't meet any of the standards of DEP or the Falmouth Conservation Commission. It has a somewhat dilapidated access ramp, and there's 2 floats. In an effort to upgrade it, he intends to remove the entire thing and make it entirely fixed with no floats. So if you look on the plan, there's a profile view of it, and the profile view shows the other existing dock for reference, but this new elevated walkway will allow for public access beneath, and there'll no longer be any floats that could bottom out at an extreme low tide. It's similar to a project that you approved a few years ago. This has been before the Conservation Commission, and an order of conditions was issued for it. It's typical construction. It's an improvement over what's in place now, and there's no impacts to navigation. It does not project across the water body more than 25%. And I'm happy to take questions.
Anybody on the board?
I have no questions.
Mr. Muscali?
Just one question, Mr. Porcelli. Could you explain for me, for my own, when you say enhanced public access? I mean, when you're talking about a dock into a waterway, what are we referring to when you talk about public access?
People don't realize that these are the waters of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for mean high water seawood. Even though you may never go here, we all have rights to fish, fowl, and navigate, which means you could walk along the shoreline to do those things, or you could navigate in a vessel. Oftentimes, these structures are built in a way that they impair that navigation, or they impair public access along the shoreline. So this dock will be updated so that the public could walk beneath it, and it would access would no longer be prohibited.
Thank you.
Is that all?
That's all I have.
Is there anybody in the public like to speak to this? Please. Please state your name for the record, your address.
Hi, Kristen Dardanelle from 84 Squibnocket across the way. I was just struck by the part that it was going to be a fixed pier. So for most of us, we have floats because we put boats in that area. So the fixed pier just made me worry more about, honestly, parties on the dock because it's a rental property and it's very busy and it's very late at night. So, and I hear people jumping in and out, but it just struck me as the fact that it was fixed. So, and I was curious, because that doesn't mean it's for boaters, because you won't be able to attach a boat there. So I just wanted to comment on that, and so, and questions about from the
Mr. Borselli,
builder
can you
why it
speak to
wasn't a
that?
float, I guess, why you wouldn't float it still.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, through you, it's a fixed structure. It's common, it's preferred. In fact, the Conservation Commission prefers fixed. You can most certainly tie a boat to it. There's pilings along the edge. It's designed to have cleats and tie-offs. The tidal range from low to high is about 18 inches, so there's no effect or inability to tie. You don't need to have a float. There's no moving parts. There's no need to haul the floats. There's no need to store the floats in somewhere in the upland, and the float would not be there, so there'd be no potential for it to ground out at low tide. This is a very common and preferred method to rebuild the dock.
That being said, is there anybody have any other questions?
No, I mean, if it's a concern about noise, I would say you just treat it like any other noise issue.
I have a
Scott
question.
Price?
Are there any other new piers in the area that have been rebuilt, and are they, if so, are they floats or fixed, if you know?
Yes, in fact, if you make reference to the plan I'm sharing, directly next door to the south, this dock is effectively a twin. It's the same design. It was reviewed by this board and the Conservation Commission 4 or 5 years ago, and it's the application before you tonight is modeled after that. This abutter, Mr. Gravina, actually referred this client to us because I guess we did a good job.
So, if I may, just,
Sure.
so what is the benefit to the community, if you will, of a fixed as opposed to a floating pier?
I don't know that there's any true benefit to the community, other than there's an environmental, potential environmental benefit in that a float that's completely decked over can shade the bottom. It can impact, could potentially impact the substrate and, shellfish resources. It could also bottom out at low tide and also do the same thing. Other than that, there's no real public benefit. There's a benefit to the fact that you don't have to haul it every year, you don't have to store it, you don't have to.
I guess I meant, you said that the Conservation Commission actually prefers them, and I was wondering where that preference comes
Because
from.
of what I said.
Sunlight penetration?
Sunlight penetration and bottoming out at low tide, yeah.
Thank you.
Or being too close to the bottom.
Thank
And
you.
also, you don't have the float on the shore.
Right.
So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
So we have, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Action? It's the board's favor.
I would move approval. It is a typical fixed pier construction.
Do you want to read this motion?
Sure. Thanks, I appreciate that.
Did you second that, Bob? Did somebody else want to talk?
Well, I just have one more question, if that's okay.
Sure.
We'd have to read.
We'd have to, I'll accept a motion to come back out of,
Motion
to open the.
reopen the public hearing.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, please.
I'm so sorry. No, I was just thinking about,
Could you wait?
sorry, Kristen Darnell, 84 Squibnaucket.
Mind pulling that microphone a little straighter? Thank you.
Kristen Dardanelle, 84 Squibnaucket. Since the tide is low, and we know that the tide's very low, this dock will now be very high, and I just worry about little kids falling off of it, because when we have low tide and it's not a floating dock, now this ends up like a, sort of like a deck out there, so it was just a safety comment, that was all. So when it's fixed and it's high, because the water's so low now, it just feels different to have a high pier, that's all. And I was curious if there would be the requirement, because it was 4 feet up, that it would now require a railing, that's all. I
Thank
just
you.
don't want anyone hurt.
Hang on right there, Mr. Brown.
I thought I heard Mr. Porcelli say it would be 18 inches off the water. Did I not hear that correctly?
The deck itself will be about 30 to 36 inches off the water. There'll be one elevated section to provide the public access that we're mandated to provide. That will have a railing, and then there'll be steps back down to a lower platform.
Okay.
It's very similar to projects you.
So how high, if I could, just
Absolutely.
how high is the platform above the water then?
30 to 36 inches.
Okay, but that's still serviceable for your boat?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, an average boat, the boat that will dock to this, dock at this dock at low tide has a gunnel. You just simply step down into the boat. It's actually low where the boat, it's as low as we can get it to the water without it being submerged at moon high tides.
I see.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Great, thank you so much.
At this time, I'll accept a motion to close the hearing.
Public hearing?
Second?
We have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
The board's favor?
I would move approval. A motion to approve the application of property owner Andrew and Laura Dearman to rebuild the existing licensed ramp and float into an entirely fixed pier in Eel Pond located at 41 Madeline Road, East Falmouth, as presented.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second as read by Mr. Brown. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Renshaw, we're going to go into business at
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Business item number 1 is adopt Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund, Board of Trustees funding priorities, and Board of Trustees funding allocation guidelines. We have 10 minutes for the presentation. While Kim is making her way up, our outstanding housing coordinator, Kim Fish, is going to lead the discussion with you. I just want to thank Kim for all of the tremendous amount of work that she put into preparing these documents and these revisions. So I'll turn it over to Kim.
Thank you. I appreciate it. For the record, I am Kim Fish, the housing coordinator, and I'm here tonight to request that you adopt the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund Board of Trustees funding priorities and the Board of Trustees funding allocation guidelines as presented. Section 2C of the Enabling Act allows for the Select Board to revise the guidelines from time to time. Since the funding priorities have so much detail in them, I thought it best that you adopt both guidelines and the funding priorities. It's not necessary under the Enabling Act, but that's where all the information really is, so I thought it was important to adopt both of them. I have also included an evaluation form that is referenced in the guideline documents. I first presented the proposed documents to you at the Select Board's workshop on March 2nd, 2024. The Enabling Act also requires that the guidelines go before the CPC for their recommendation before coming here. I went before them on April 25th, 2024. They gave their recommendation with the request that on the Board of Trustees funding guidelines, we include 3-bedroom rentals as well as 1 and 2. In the priorities, which I did. 2 of the main revisions that were made since you last saw these documents were in the guidelines. The amount per unit increased from 125 to 125,000 to 150,000. We have found that we need to have the flexibility to go to 150,000 if the project needs it. The interest rates and the construction costs have been ebbing and flowing, as well as the affordability gap. It's important that we can have that flexibility, but again, it would be on a project-by-project basis. It's not a given that the applicant would get 150. So I just want to make that clear. Just because it says 150 doesn't mean that they're just guaranteed that. This is just a cap for it. In the guidelines and in the priorities, local preference was removed. We, as a regular practice, we request local preference anyway, so we felt that it shouldn't be in the priorities, but I do still have it in the evaluation form, because as our checklist in the working group, it is a box to tick. But we regularly request that anyway. We have so many people that have already moved from Falmouth and would love to return. Also, at times it's been difficult to fill the local preference requirements, just lack of qualified applicants. Also, the need for diversity to bring young folks back to Falmouth that have already left. We'd love to have them come back. Also, it's still an option on the project-by-project basis. Just because it's off of the guidelines and the priorities does not mean this isn't that it's off completely. This is something we request regardless. So it's there, it's always going to be there, it's just not listed there. So that's it. I'm requesting you to adopt them as presented if you have any questions for me.
Mr. Muscali?
Yes, just one, and great job as always. In addition to raising the limit to 150, you also added the phrase about inclusive of land acquisition, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the rationale for that being?
Well, I think it's important to just have the land acquisition as well.
I mean, has that been an impediment, would you say?
No,
going
it's been a
forward?
question. For instance, we actually do have a pending application that you're gonna see. It's going before the CPC Thursday. I'll be there with the applicants Thursday, and then on May 20th, we'll be before you with the applicant for just the land acquisition.
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Absolutely.
Wanted to chime in on that for clarification. It's really a matter of, we want to know the full cost of a project, right? We don't typically fund acquisition. We've done it, and it's something that we can do, but it's not routine. And the point of the clarification in the guidelines is we want a comprehensive look at what the per unit cost is going to be. So if we, most projects, again, they've already acquired the property, so we have a per unit cost to subsidize construction, and it's one amount. But in those events, if we have acquisition and construction, sometimes they might come simultaneously, preferably simultaneously, but if they're separated, we want to apply comprehensively what's the total cost or what's the total subsidy for the project going to be on a per unit basis, including everything, including acquisition and construction. So that was the point of the clarification.
Thank you.
One more, Kim. In addition to the CPC, did anyone else, any other committees or parts of the town take a look at these guidelines?
No, I brought them before the Affordable Housing Committee, and I also brought them to the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund Working Group.
Is that Mr. Skelly?
Fine, thank you.
Mr. Brown?
No, I have nothing, thank you.
Scott Price?
They look great. Mr. Chair, if I may, I move as trustees of the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund, adoption of the Board of Trustees funding priorities and the Board of Trustees funding allocation guidelines as presented by our wonderful housing coordinator, Kim Fish.
Thank you.
On the record, wonderful.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Kim.
And those kind words, thank you, will be in the record in the meeting, so they may be held against you at some point. I'm kidding. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you for getting all this stuff updated.
Mr. Renshaw?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Business item number 2 is a request from Cape Cod, and I apologize if I'm going to mispronounce this.
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Wang Ping Tai Chi Kwan Club for the waiver of the special event permit fee for the Tai Chi practice at Marina Park on Saturday morning, April to December 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant's requesting a full waiver of the permit fees in accordance with the approved fee schedule. You have a copy of that in your packets this evening. The permit fee for this event is calculated based upon a formula $25 per day times 30, which would be $750. Wanted to point out to the board tonight that over the course of the past 3 years, the Select Board has taken the following action. In 2023, last year, the board voted to waive the fee entirely. In 22, the board voted to waive the permit fee. And in 2021, 3 years ago, the board voted to reduce the fee to $287.50. And Mr. Chairman and board, it's my recommendation that based upon the previous decisions to waive the special event fees in 22 and 23, that the Select Board approve the request from the applicant for a waiver of the special fee permit for this event on Saturday mornings from April through December of 2024.
May be able to save you a little time here. Anybody?
This event is free to the public, correct?
We are,
For the
I'm
record, your name,
Diane
please.
Marshall. I'm the president of the Guangping Tai Chi Chuan Club. Very good.
You owe me.
And we do have membership fee, a yearly fee of $100. And we will, if you were interested in trying us out, you can come for free for a month and see if it's something that you can do. And you're willing to, to do each week, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Do you have other events in other places in the off-season?
We do. On rainy days, you can find us at the Gus Canty, which we were there all winter. We rent space at 241 Fitness upstairs at the Falmouth Sports Center. We rent Monday through Friday there. And we're also at the Falmouth Senior Center 1 day a week.
So this just supplements your activities?
It does. Well, it allows us to be outdoors, which is it was funny, because before COVID, nobody liked being outdoors, and then once COVID came and forced us to be outside, our membership grew during COVID because we were in a visible space. So it's beneficial for the club.
Good.
Mr. Chair, I'd motion to approve the request from Cape Cod Guang Pi Thai Ji Quan Club for a waiver of the special event permit fee for the Tai Chi practice at Marina Park on Saturday mornings from April to December 2024.
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Can we use an acronym next year?
We'll learn how to say
We
it.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Renshaw, number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Business item 3 is a request from Falmouth Art Market and Falmouth Cultural Council for a waiver or reduction of the special event permit fee for the Art Market at Marina Park on Tuesdays from June 25th, 2024 through August 27th, 2024. And Mr. Chair and Board, the applicant, as I mentioned, is requesting a full waiver of the fee associated with this event. And again, in accordance with the standard board practice, there's a formula that is applied for this type of an event. It's $200 per day times the 10 days, which would be a fee of $2,000. I want to point out to the board again that over the past 7 years, the office staff went back and pulled those records. The board has waived over the past subsequent 2 years, 23 and 22, has waived that permit fee. Back in 21, all the way back until 2017, there was a reduction of the permit fee to $300. And again, Mr. Chairman and Board, based upon the Board's previous decisions over the past couple of years to waive that fee, I'm recommending that the Board approve the request from the Falmouth Art Market and Falmouth Cultural Council for a waiver of the special event permit fee for the Art Market at Marina Park on Tuesdays from June 25th through August 27th.
How would the board like to proceed?
Recommend we approve the request to waive the fee for Falmouth Art Market Cultural Council for a waiver of the special event permit fee for the Art Market Marina Park on Tuesdays from June 25th, 2024 through August 27th, 2024.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. Mr. Renshaw?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Business item number 4 is a request from John Wesley United Methodist Church for a waiver reduction of the special event permit fee for Sunday worship services at Surf Drive Beach from July 7th, 2024 through September 1st, 2024. And Mr. Chairman and Board, the applicant, again, is requesting a reduction of the permit fee associated with this event. In accordance with the approved fee schedule, the fee was calculated based upon the following formula. It would be $75 per day times the 8 days. The first and last day, there's no waiver, so that would equate to $150. So for the 6 days of the event, that would equate to $450. The board has a discretion to apply a 75% reduction, which in this case would be $337.50, to arrive at a daily permit rate of $112.50. Adding that $112.50 plus $150 to the first and last day of the event, the total reduced permit fee would be $262.50. And Mr. Chair and Board, over the course of the previous 8 seasons, the Select Board has voted each year to reduce the special event permit fee for this event to that $262.50 per the formula. I'm recommending that for this year, the Board do similarly and reduce that fee of this special event for Sunday worship services at Surf Drive Beach from July 7th through September 1st to the reduced amount of $262.50.
Thank you, Mr. Renshaw. How would the board like to proceed?
I think that sounds fair. I mean, it is a little impact there because we do have people going to the beach, so there should be some fee. So I would move approval as recommended here.
Anybody have any more input? Mr. Muscala, you good?
I'm just wondering why it's not completely waived or hasn't been in the past.
So I have a comment to that, Mr. Chair and Select Board Member Muscali. So in talking to the staff, there is, as Select Board Member Brown just mentioned, some impact to staff. Someone has to open the gate, close the gate after the event. So there's some staff cost, so to speak, in terms of operating the event smoothly. And it is a public facility.
All set?
Yeah, sure.
Scott Price, you good?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm good.
All right.
I'll motion to approve the request from John Wesley United Methodist Church for a reduction of the special event permit fee for Sunday worship service at Surf Drive Beach from July 7th, 2024 through September 1st, 2024 to to the reduced amount of $262.50.
So move, or second, excuse me.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Mr. Renshaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Business item 5 is a request from the Coit Congregational Church for a waiver of the special event permit fee for the annual Summer Bazaar, one-way travel on Parsons Lane on Friday, July 12th, and Saturday, July 13th of 2024. The applicant is requesting a full waiver of the permit fee. Again, based upon the approved fee schedule, the permit fee for this event is calculated based upon the formula of $200 per day times the 2 days requested, which would equate to $400. Mr. Chairman and Board, over the course of the previous 6 years, the Select Board has voted to waive the entire special event permit fee for this event. It's not on town-owned property. It's literally just a closure of that one-way travel on Parsons Drive. The event would take place on Friday, July 12th, and Saturday, July 13th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. both days. And again, based upon the previous decisions to waive the special event permit fee in its entirety over the past 6 years, I'm recommending the Select Board do the same this year in 2024 and approve the request from McCoy Congregational Church for a full waiver of that special event permit fee.
I recall historically that we've had no issues with that closure, and it's been a pretty successful and community-based event.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost us anything, and
Thank you, Mr. Renshaw.
they do a lot for us with
Absolutely.
public events. so.
One might argue it should be one way all the time, that Parsons Lane.
How would the board like to proceed?
Mr. Chair, I'd motion to approve the request from the Coit Congregational Church for a full waiver of the special event permit fee for the annual Summer Bazaar one-way on Parsons Lane, Friday, July 12th, 2024, and Saturday, July 13th, 2024.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Mr. Renshaw?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Business item 6 is a request from Arts Falmouth Incorporated for a waiver reduction of the special event permit fee for the Arts Alive Festival on the library lawn, Peg Noonan Park, and Shore Street Extension on Friday, June 14th, Saturday, June 15th, and Sunday, June 16th. The applicant's requesting a full waiver of the fee. And again, in accordance with the fee schedule, the permit for this event is calculated based on the formula of $200 per day times the 3 days requested, which would equate to $600. Mr. Chair and Board, over the course of the previous 7 years, Select Board has voted to waive the entire special event permit fee for this event, with the exception of 2021, when it approved the fee of $150. Wanted to just point that out. The event, as I mentioned earlier, will take place on Friday, June 14th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, June 15th from 9:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then again on Sunday, June 16th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the event's expected to draw between 2,500 and 5,000 attendees. And Mr. Chair, Select Board members, based on the previous decisions over the years to waive the special event permit fee for the past 2 years, I'm recommending the Select Board do that again and waive the special event permit fee for the Arts Alive Festival on the library lawn, Peg Noonan Park, and Shore Street Extension on those dates of Friday, June 14th, Saturday, June 15th, and lastly, Sunday, June 15th, or June 16th.
Thank you, Mr. Renshaw. Board members?
Sounds good to me.
Art is on a roll.
That's it. Giddy up. What's the board's pleasure?
And a motion?
Mr. Chair, I motion to approve the request from Arts Falmouth, Inc. for a waiver of the special event permit fee for the Arts Alive Festival on the library lawn, Peg Noonan Park, and Shore Street Extension on Friday, June 14th, Saturday, June 15th, and Sunday, June 16th, 2024, as presented.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, Mr. Renshaw?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last item on the business agenda is item 7, license renewals, 2024 seasonal and spring annual. And Mr. Chairman and Select Board members, I would recommend that the board approve the renewal of the 2024 seasonal and spring annual license as posted in tonight's agenda.
Board members, any questions?
No.
I move approval.
Anybody else?
Yeah, motion to approve the 2024 seasonal and spring annual license renewals as posted on the May 6, 2024 board agenda.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Renshaw. We're going to move into the consent agenda. What I'll do is I'll read each line item. If anybody needs to hold it or wants to, I know there's somebody in the audience that wants to speak to one of them.
Yep.
If you want me to hold it, just announce that after I read it, okay? Number 1, approve application for special one-day wine and malt liquor license, Rise and Shine Productions LLC, Coast Fest Band Shell Marina Park, Saturday, 8/3/24, from 3 to 10 o'clock p.m. B, approve application for a special one-day wine malt liquor license, Michael Clark, Living the Dream Bagel and Bean Tournament. The conference table, 205 Worcester Court, Saturday, 5/11/24, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Approve the application filed by Vineyard Caribbean Cuisine Incorporated for a common victual license, 279 Main Street, Falmouth. Approve application filed by Sun Retreats Cape Cod for an automatic amusement device license at 130 Thomas B. Landers Road, East Falmouth. Approve the application filed by In on the Square, 40 Main Street, Falmouth, for a change of manager of its lodging house license. Administrative orders. Approve warrant for the annual town election on May 21st, 2024. Accept donations from Inman Tree Specialists in the amount of $550 to the Falmouth Cultural Council donation account for the Music at the Table program.
Just comment, thanks to Inman Tree for that donation.
Just a comment?
Yes, sir.
All right. Appoint inspectors of animals, Christopher Anglin, Molly Mason, and Chloe Essery. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
I think it's Erisy.
Erisy. Approve water main easement for 763 Main Street. Approve letter of support for solar array project at Cape Cod Country Club. Would you like to speak to that, sir?
Yeah, thanks.
I was gonna hold that anyways.
Okay.
We also have another letter from another resident who was
All right,
concerned
well,
about.
we'll get into that then.
details.
If you wouldn't mind giving your name and address for the record, sir.
Kevin Fahey, 308 Minot Road.
Thank you.
And so we had a couple people here. I told them by mistake that we'd be speaking earlier. So people from Paul Harney, the Cape Club, and Falmouth Country Club, they had other things to do. So I'm here with Cape Cod Country Club. And what we are hoping that we can get accomplished is that the approval letter is not issued. Well, we feel that this letter was written or it's been looked into, and it has not been supported by information related to what is the impact to the local community, what is the quality of life impact to the fixed income and the middle income people, what are the EPA impacts, and I don't believe EPA impacts are what you consider yourself with here. That might be another board, but there are a lot of impacts to this letter. The letter might not be a final process in terms of moving a process along, but it is something significant saying that you support this project. We feel there are a number of issues associated with this project that are not positive for the Falmouth community. And then the primary issue that we look into in talking to these other clubs is that the Cape Cod Country Club is the second largest by person play club in all of Falmouth. There is nowhere to go. Once the Cape Cod Country Club is gone, you can't go to the Falmouth Country Club. It is overbooked from June to August. You can't go to Paul Harney. Paul Harney is a small 9-hole course. Can't hold us. And the Cape Country Club is 2.7 times more expensive. So there is a large number of people who are associated, not just the Cape Cod Country Club, but the general population of Falmouth who do play golf. We are all impacted. We don't have money to go join Woods Hole. So this is a true blue-collar, fixed-income area that we can go and play golf to. It's not just local residents, it's also a large rental issue. People come here to go to the beach, they come here to play golf. So having this solar project and then attached to that the 500 homes that are talked about being put up around Coonamessett Pond, all of this is something that we feel needs to be investigated a lot more prior to issuing a letter of support. So we're hoping that the board will not issue that letter until there's more review done in order to find out how these are impacting not only just the local people, but EPA issues as well. Our primary issue is, again, even if it's not an EPA-related issue, which we feel there's a lot, there's nowhere for us to go. And this is truly a middle-income group of people who will have nowhere to go.
I can appreciate your comments, but you realize that's private property, right?
We do, and that private property, we have no issue. He has every right to sell that land. But it was also looked at, the town can look at doing a buy lease of the land. The town owns part of Falmouth Country Club. You can also own part of this country club. It can be run in a profitable manner. There's a lot of people who actually work at that country club for free. That's the drive that this club has. So yeah, I mean, we have no issue with someone trying to sell their property. But we do have an issue that the deal in place, the solar array, and then 500 homes right along the pond, that's not in the interest of anyone in the long term.
Mr. Brown?
What are you referring to with the 500 homes?
We understand that part of this project is also Saxon is agreed, has the permission to build a housing project in the same property area. 20% I think becomes low-income housing, and the rest is just normal housing. And all that housing is up around the pond area.
I thought that was the alternative plan that we're avoiding by having the solar array.
From what we understand, they're attached.
Mr. Leahy, hold on a second. It's good to have an opinion, but you have to have substantiated facts when you come up here. If you don't know that there is gonna be 500 homes, or it's hard to take a position when obviously you have an opinion about this. But we have information. Would you like to speak to this?
Sure, yeah, I can state definitively that the proposal that is being brought forward by the company that purchased AMP, which is now Pure Sky, does not include any housing.
But it does include eliminating the club.
Absolutely, yes.
So we still
Right,
have
so
the issues with thousands of rounds.
If I may, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely.
So the proposal, this is, as the chairman indicated, this is privately owned land. The owner has decided not to continue to operate a golf course. The owner could have pursued housing, but is not pursuing housing, is instead pursuing a solar project. And we certainly have looked at the environmental implications of that project. And in fact, that's one of the reasons for the letter of support. Because from an environmental perspective, clearly a solar array project is going to have a much better impact on the environment than a large-scale housing development would. There are also revenue benefits, and the town is going to gain long-term control of the land. So I appreciate you're a golfer, and you want, and you're not the only one. There are many golfers that enjoy that course, but it's just not an option that's before the town.
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
not an
Jones.
option that's been reviewed in terms of, again, it is a quality of life issue.
For you.
Not just for me, that's the whole.
I understand you're mad that you can't play golf there and it's gonna be expensive, but you have to understand that as a private property owner, you can't control what they do, and we have limitations to what we can do.
Has the board looked into possibly looking at the land and running it like Falmouth Country Club?
We really haven't.
No.
So
Hold on.
Mr. Sheriff, and stop me when I go astray.
Yeah.
So I just attended my first meeting at the Falmouth Country Club this morning, kind of the board meeting, the committee, advisory committee. And I'm a golfer too, and I hear what you're saying. But I want the board to understand that it was just not until recently, like coming out of the pandemic, that the Falmouth Country Club began to turn a profit. They're very expensive to operate and maintain. So I'm not, respectfully, while that may look like an option, as your town manager, I could not recommend that, just based upon the knowledge that I have with regards to the steps that our current operator of the Falmouth Country Club has taken, just to begin turning, getting us back in the black, because we were operating in the red for years.
And we've invested millions of dollars there too, in new irrigation system.
Yes, there's the capital outlay, yes.
And the clubhouse renovation. I mean, it's a big commitment for the town, and we've got so many things right now that we have to spend a lot of money on. It would be great if a private developer, I would love to see the Cape Cod Country Club stay
I also, if you're finished with your comments, I have another comment about the letter we received from Bob Young today, pointing out that, in his opinion, that the current developer is not really the same developer. I mean, they may have the same people, and it's been presented to us that they just changed their name, but I'd like to know if it's accurate what Mr. Young is under the impression that they don't actually have that Cape Cod Commission approval in order as it should be, and whether or not they need to go back to the planning board?
So I believe they do need to go back to the planning board, and they are resubmitting in their current, if you read the application, it doesn't say Pure Sky and it doesn't say AMP. There's an LLC that is specific to this project, with presumably the parent company is Pure Sky. But the point is, they applied to the Cape Cod Commission, withdrew, and are now reapplying with all of the new particulars that are on the table today. So I'm pretty sure everything's in order there.
Okay. Should we see that first, though? I mean, it seems like...
I really don't think so. Everything has been updated and is being resubmitted. So it doesn't matter what was submitted before. They're submitting something new. They're not tied to what was submitted before. The fact that the corporate name changed, whether there was change in the directors, it's really not material. What's material is what is the proposal, right? And we have the most up-to-date information in terms of what the town's interests are. I don't think that it matters who owns the project for the town's interests. The issues for the town are environmental, they're long-term control of the property, they are, the revenue potential that the project holds, the benefits over the alternative housing development, where we know what those are.
Well, the other thing, there are some things that we've lost, like that additional piece of land that they were gonna donate that we could have used for affordable housing. That's now out. So there are some material changes. I'd be interested to know if there are others that, I only kind of became aware of that on the side because I was still proposing that we do that housing, and I found out that that part has been removed. So there may be other changes.
The only other, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One other comment I would make to that end is that this is a letter of support to the Cape Cod Commission. It's going to undergo a thorough review by the Cape Cod Commission. And then the owner has to come back to the town to do a couple of things. One is to negotiate the land transfer. We're not legally, the select board did vote a non-binding memorandum of understanding expressing its interest in taking ownership of the land, but that needs to go to town meeting. So the town has another bite at the apple to say, where are you drawing the lines, and we want this land, not that land, and then there's a lease negotiation. So this is a very long road for this very large and complicated and important project, and there will be other opportunities for the town to investigate the details and have some influence on the final outcome.
Mr. Muscala, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to compliment the town staff and Stephanie Mattson in particular for getting that information out so quickly after the last hearing where we had all these unsubstantiated allegations about damage and environmental problems and so forth. So great job in putting that all together. The day after that meeting, we had that information. So thank you for that.
Ms. Scott Price? Anything?
No.
Okay, Mr. Renshaw, if you would mind rereading your recommendation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm recommending that the Select Board approve the letter of support to the Cape Cod Commission for the solar array project at the Cape Cod Country Club as drafted tonight in your packet and presented.
So we're gonna vote the whole consent agenda together?
Yeah.
Can we add in the letter that, what happened to the little land that, because we sent them a letter of support, what, a year and a half or 2 years ago? Didn't we give a letter of support for AMP Energy for the same project?
That sounds familiar.
Withdrawn.
I believe we did.
I honestly don't recall. We may very well have.
I'm pretty sure we did, and then they were, now they're looking to refresh it, so to speak, because they have to go through the Cape Cod Commission again. I believe that's what we're doing.
It wasn't just the memorandum of understanding that we executed?
I thought we gave a letter of support
Okay.
to go to the Cape Cod Commission for the first time. I was gonna say is maybe in this letter, we should make mention that they're still interested in that affordable housing, that land that was offered on the first time.
So that would constitute that as part of a motion, if that's your recommendation. Then
Only if we all agree, I mean.
That's not how it works. If people are ready to vote it tonight, and you're not ready to vote it, then one of us makes a motion, one of us seconds it, and we vote, or.
I motion to amend it.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I would like to motion to amend it, because I would like to know why that land was taken out.
Is this time sensitive by any chance?
It is, the applicant has expressed that it is time sensitive. They were hoping to get it a couple of weeks ago. When we met with the applicant, the land.
You can have a seat, boss.
I'm comfortable.
The land use staff group met with the applicant prior to the last meeting where we presented the recommendation. And the applicant, the representative did say that the owner was choosing to retain that property and not include it in the sale. So I don't, my understanding is they either want to, personally occupy it or market it separately. So I don't know that a recommendation is going to move them off of, it's their loan, it's ultimately their land, and they get to decide, what they sell and what they don't sell. Right?
Our letter.
Yep.
I just want to point out, in this letter, it does say that it was a non-binding memorandum of understanding that we voted September 22nd, 2022. And there is a sentence in here that says potential use of a limited portion of previously disturbed land, which is not subject to a conservation restriction for affordable attainable housing. So it's saying that we considered this in this letter. So if you want to amend that, we'd have to strike that whole.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, so there still is land included in the parcel to be transferred to the town as now proposed. There is still land that will not have a conservation restriction on it, so there still are some affordable housing options.
I know, but it's minimal, and that was a whole street that had lots that were already delineated. It's 5 or 6 lots that were ready to go there. That's probably why they wanted to keep it. It's a value. I was surprised that they were including it on the first time, but I was pretty happy about it.
Right. So we're, I'm just looking at it from what are we paying to purchase this land? Nothing.
Well, we're
They're choosing.
paying, our residents are not gonna be able to play golf there, so we're giving up something.
Well, but my understanding is that they're not going to be able to play golf anyway, because the person who's selling the property is selling it not as a golf course, they're just selling land, and the person who purchased the property has no intentions of keeping it as a golf course.
That's exactly right, and unless the people that are against it, if I may, I guess I can, they have every opportunity to buy that golf course themselves as a group, or, what complicates this for their argument is that it's private property and he can do whatever he wants, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Mm-hmm. We just wish somebody would come along and buy it for a golf course, but it's not gonna happen.
And the reason it's not gonna happen is because the highest and best use from an economic standpoint, just from a pure appraised value standpoint, is housing.
Mm-hmm.
And that speaks to the fact that, this is a really good time right now for golf. Golf is on a run for several years, and, I know you.
COVID pushed them outside to play golf.
Right, and the point I wanted to get across is I've been, on the Cape overseeing municipal golf operations for 20 years, and we've seen ups and downs. We've seen, going back to the 80s, towns build golf course during a golf boom, and then there's a golf bust, and the golf courses are losing money. And we've had golf courses go out of business across the country, and certainly in this region, which is maybe a terrible thing for the golfer, but it's a good thing for the profitability of the remaining golf courses. And whether we like that or not, that's the economic reality. I would certainly be very concerned about owning a second golf course.
I would too.
Because
I know the Barnstable golf course has been a money pit for them.
Okay.
Okay, well, do you guys agree that, can we add the language? I'd like to make a motion that we request that they honor the previous offer that they made in 2021, I think it was, 2022? I mean, they don't have to, but, I still support the project, but I think the letter should include that we request that they consider adding it, including it as was previously agreed.
I respectfully disagree with that, but that's where we vote.
I feel like it's hard to say because this is it's essentially a new,
It's its own document.
it's a new proposal, right? It's a new
We're
submission, everything,
we're amending a fresh proposal,
yeah.
so.
I think
And you're saying, Peter, that the owner has decided not to include this in this go-around, so, I mean, we really don't have much to say about it. I mean, possibly that could be something further down the road, I don't know.
No, it's not gonna happen if we don't. This is our last chance, I'd say.
So, I don't want to tell you you can't ask. You can ask. Whether it's realistic that they're going to move because we ask, I don't know. So
Maybe just a line at the bottom saying that we approved a letter of support in 2022, which included the parcel, what's the name of that road? Is it Boxbury Hill?
Yeah, I think so.
And we'd be interested to still have that. That's my motion, if anybody else wants to support it.
So, just so I understand the motion, so the motion would be to support the letter with an amendment, and the amendment to the letter would be that the town expresses a strong preference to include the parcel that had previously been included and was not removed as part of the land to be transferred to the town.
I would like to say that. It's still supportive.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I think I'd second that. I'll second that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Carries.
Thank you.
Just a note on the letter, though, down at the bottom, the enclosure, I guess it should be 9/22/2022, not 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a typo. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Sorry we couldn't do more for you on that.
Good try.
Mr. Renshaw, town manager's supplemental report?
We need to vote the whole consent agenda.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. So that being given, entertain a motion to vote the consent agenda.
I'll move the consent agenda with the
The amended
amended
motion on item
2E.
2E. Yes, I'll do that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I
take the second.
was a nay on, oh, no, we moved the
Yeah.
agenda. Yeah, thank you.
Yep, we're good.
All right. Mr. Renshaw?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two really brief updates. As you all recall, back on March 25th, the Falmouth Municipal Light Plant did a presentation. Following that presentation, I made a recommendation that you task me with going out and speaking with the Boundless, the one company vendor that the MLP had been in discussions with, in an attempt to find out what information regarding town processes and permit review, that sort of thing, would be required. I met a couple of times with staff from each of the respective departments. We put that information together in a form provided by Boundless, sent that off on April 25th, roughly. And to date, I've got no response back from the Boundless folks that they had any questions. So I just wanted to give the board an update that that process is underway. So now the ball, so to speak, is in Boundless's court. The last update I want to make.
One second. Can we help you with something?
No, I'm here for trespass, I was just like.
For what?
Oh, we already approved it.
You're all set. I'm sorry, Mike. I just
That's
didn't
all
want
right.
to hold the guy up.
That's okay. And the second,
Sorry.
second brief update, and you have a copy of the flyer. The Town Planning Department, as you probably know, has recently launched two really exciting planning projects, and we're seeking community feedback. Over the spring, summer, and fall of this year, the town will begin developing its first ever downtown parking management plan and a downtown wayfinding signage plan. These plans will help evaluate the downtown parking and signage system, quantify the parking usage, and assess the signage effectiveness and provide recommendations for us to improve and become more effective at signing. Planning Department is hosting, to that end, the Planning Department is hosting an open house event on Thursday, May 16th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and again, that same date from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. over in the Herman Meeting Room at the Public Library to help explain the purpose of these two projects, answer any questions that residents may have, and most importantly, to take public feedback. The two time slots are being offered to provide ample opportunity for folks to attend, and we certainly encourage people to do so. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Select Board reports, Mr. Muscali?
Yes, I was pleased to attend the Arbor Day celebration last Friday. Mr. Renshaw was there, Mr. Johnson Staub, Mr. Brown, Chair Taylor. It's a wonderful event. Compliments to the DPW for getting it all done and ready for Arbor Day. It's a great place to visit. I attended a Council on the Aging meeting last Wednesday. They are in the process of revising certain policies and procedures as regards the operation of the senior center. We'll be forwarding that to Mr. Renshaw. And I just want to, again, compliment Mr. Renshaw in getting out the update of all of the departments and what they're doing as he committed to do at our strategy session back in March. So thank you. It was very helpful to see all that's going on.
It's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muscali. Mr. Brown?
I attended the Beach Committee's presentation on Surf Drive, and it was very informative and well-attended, and I'm looking forward to getting some more results on that. Leslie Shields was there to explain it.
Thank you. Ms. Scott Price? How many more meetings?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. This is not my last one yet. I did attend the firefighter appreciation. I was late, blame it on the baby, but it was nice to see the community turn out and appreciate the firefighters.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't remember.
I didn't have a car that day. Otherwise, I would have been there.
It was really nice, and I got to, there's people with families and cake. It was nice.
There's no minutes.
No, that's not
Okay, forgot to put that on my schedule, so sorry I missed it.
Anybody think of anything else before I ask for a motion to adjourn?
I'll offer that I did do a Zoom conference with Granicus, which is that company that does the information on short-term rentals, so that was informative for later.
Okay.
Great.
Motion?
Motion to it.
Go for it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.